Okay, here we are again. Going to do some more on this rugged landscape painting. See what we can accomplish. I don't know. What do you all think? Maybe put some distant trees back in here a little bit closer than this mountain. Let's add some trees, see what we think. Going to use a flat brush. This is a number 6 flat brush. Linseed oil, Prussian blue, raw umber, Viridian green, and a little bit of neutral gray to make it so it's not too dark. All right, I want a back and forth going here. So I want this layer to be coming in front of that layer. So let's lighten it up a little bit. You don't want to get too dark too quick. All right, I think we're working good here. Don't want to get too dark too quick. And of course, these strokes, you're getting closer, so you want the trees to be a little bit bigger on this layer of trees. See how far away that looks now because it's all misty and our tonal value isn't as strong as what we're putting in front of it. This is how we build depth in the painting. So it looks like you could walk right into the painting or move through the painting. This is kind of mixing with my sky color from yesterday. That's okay because we can kind of let it fade back as it moves away to the edge. That's cool. Start scrubbing some color in. If you got any paint boogers, make sure you get them out. Try to keep my palette and my brushes and everything clean so I don't have to deal with the paint boogers. In other words, the wad of paint, like if something gets in your paint or dried paint, sticks in there. No bueno. Get that out. You want a bunch of paint boogers in your painting. Now might want to make it misty right here at the bottom of these trees. So I'm going to mix up some neutral gray, zinc white, cerulean blue, turquoise. It's kind of like the same color I put in the sky. I'm just using the same dirty brush. A little bit of dioxazine purple, not much. Because right here we kind of want to start to get a little bit misty. Scrub that up in there. Let that fade down into nothing. Let me go find a nice fan brush where I can kind of blend that in a little better. Use this fan brush and kind of blend that in a little bit. There we go. Got another layer on that bad boy. Looking good now. Oop. Now what do we want to do? I think I want maybe a river or a stream or something coming down through here. So let's just lay that in. Like I said, we're just winging it on this painting. We are winging it, man. So sky color again. A little bit more white on this one though. I'm doing downward strokes here. Trying to figure out where I want this water. Now I'm doing side to side. We'll get it laid in there and then we'll downward stroke it. I want this thing to be kind of windy. Maybe it winds that way, comes back this way. I don't know. Take that fan brush. I ain't used the fan brush in a long time. It's kind of cool. Pull that down. Want some downward strokes in there. Or you can pull up. I'm pulling up here because bottom of the canvas, I keep hitting the easel there. So we got a kind of an idea of where that's going to be. There we go. Kind of settle this down in there. There's trees. Now we want to bring some stuff out this way. We're going to come another layer ahead. So I'm going to try to make it a little bit darker this time. Prussian blue, raw umber. So now we're getting to where we can see maybe some detail. Limited detail, not like crazy detail. In these trees, they're, this is going to be a bigger grouping of trees here. Just using that flat brush again. Gotta make sure we don't have our trees the same distance apart. If I don't watch myself, that kind of happens. So put one in between them two. There we go. I want them to all look the same, different heights. I want it to basically be going up, but I want to go up and down while I'm going up, if you know what I mean. I also want just trees with no, like a dead tree sticking up, no foliage on the tree. Makes for a very interesting painting. Just kind of scrubbing some stuff in there, letting it happen. Let it happen, man. Don't fight the brush. Let the brush work for you. Negative space, leave negative. Don't just make a big block of a tree shape, leave negative space in there. You can see like holes through the trees and all that stuff. It makes it a lot more interesting where you can see the background. Let the painting work. Don't just cover it all in. I'm up here doing a video. Heard my wife rustling downstairs and calling my name. Okay, going back and forth, going back and forth. Okay, we need to put some dead ones in here. There we go. I'm gonna put them in real quick. Hands falling asleep, holding it up at that angle. Using liquid, but very little liquid. Don't want to get crazy with it because you don't want your painting to crack and all that at a later date. Okay, as far as the sky holes peeking through, you want less, whoops, my thing fell down. You want less sky holes the further down you go because, you know, obviously it's going to be more dense down there. So you're not going to see through, you know, to the background mountains and stuff. Things to think about while you're painting. All right. Beautiful. All right. Going up the hill, this part's going to be coming down at us a little bit. Let's lighten that up. I want to put some Viridian green, some of that turquoise, maybe gray it a little bit with some of the neutral gray. Let's see what that does. I want some foliage down here at the bottom. Trying to decide if I like that color. I want some yellow in there. Need some yellow in there to make it more exciting. Got some Hansa yellow light. We'll throw that in there with it. We're getting close enough now. We can start seeing some yellows and greens and all that. Close enough towards us in the painting is what I'm trying to say. There we go. Mix some of that Prussian blue with that Hansa yellow. Ooh, that makes a nice green. See that? That's nice. We'll refine this a little bit more when we get to the last stage. I'm basically still blocking stuff in and figuring out where everything goes in this painting. Paint with the left hand for a while. My right hand is falling asleep. Now I'm trying to decide how I want to handle this. See, I don't want those 2 points coming out at the same place. So let's bring this one out a little further into the water. Somewhere out there. In fact, I might put some rocks and stuff out there to make it a little bit more interesting. Right now, we're just kind of laying stuff in anyway, figuring out where everything goes. Back to the right hand. Just kind of scrubbing paint in and letting it happen. Be free. Be free. All right, over on this other side. Let's see. We got these trees coming out here. Scrub some stuff in right there, maybe. Okay, let that happen right there. A little bit darker. Okay, I think about right here, I want to start another layer of trees. That kind of go up above and in front of those. Let's see what happens. So, let's see, I don't want that to mess with that. I'm trying to figure out where to put this at. Maybe right in here somewhere. Okay, this is a little bit closer than that. So we're going to make these trees a little bit bigger, closer to us. paint's becoming a little bit more tacky now the longer I use it, which is kind of a good thing because it makes for some good texture. Pull up some dead ones here. Need some more Prussian blue. I'm running out. Running out of Prussian blue. All right. Might be getting a little bit too dark, but that's okay because I will use a trick where you can make your darkest part like the middle and then lighten it up as you come forward. We'll see how it plays out. We might be using that trick, who knows? Might not use that trick. Tune in next week. Will David Payne use the trick or not use the trick? Yeah. No. Okay, these two trees are basically exactly the same, equal distance. I'm noticing that I'm getting equal distance. We need to remedy that. I was talking to my wife, in case you guys didn't, I don't know if you can hear her over my mic, but she's asking me questions that I need to answer so I do not get in trouble. Happy wife, happy life. All right. Let's make this one a little bit taller. There we go. There we go. That looks a little bit more natural because it's not so uniform. Kill the uniformity. And we'll go with one that's a little bit shorter here. Trying to paint clear across the painting here. It's actually kind of tough. Painting at an angle, basically, I can't see it. Trying to keep my head out of the way of the video. Okay, a bunch of stuff happening here on the bank. Okay. Then I think I'm going to come back through with some bigger trees with another layer, but that's going to be a warmer layer. We'll put that in right here because I kind of want you going back and forth through the painting. Scrub some of this in down here because we're going to have some foliage, all kinds of stuff happening down through here. Then I want some bigger trees, you know, down through here maybe. So something like this, you know. We'll go ahead and lay it in with this these cooler colors, and I'll bring the warmer colors in later, but we'll have a big trunk, you know. Go ahead and lay it in so we know where it's at. How about that? Negative space, let it happen. Let the negative space happen. Basically killing all that we did back there, but that's okay. Like I said, we're winging it, so we don't know what's going to happen. Makes it exciting. I can feel the excitement in the air. Okay, we'll have that come down through there. Put some stuff in there probably. And I'm going to come back later, and after that sky dries, and we're going to refine the sky and add some clouds and stuff. And I'll put some negative space, some sky holes in those trees. And you'll see how that really sets a painting off. But right now we're just getting it laid in so we know where everything's at. Make that a little bit taller just to kill any sense of uniformity. There, I think that looks a little better. And we'll put one here real close just to break up the even space. Maybe we got dead one or something coming through right there. Some fallen trees and stuff in there. That always looks nice. Then we're just going to scrub some color in here so we got something to work with when we do our warm layer over the top of it. I want warm and cool playing against each other. All right, boom. We got ourselves a painting laid in. Now that I know where everything's going, we can kind of start adding some stuff to it later in a later episode. Before I do that, though, let's drag some of this down. Drag some reflections down before we drag it down, pull it across. We'll probably have a few rapids and stuff going right over the top of those reflections, which will further set it down into the water. As you will see when I get there. I just want some of this in there before we get to that point, and then we'll add some sparkle to the water, all that. Okay, we got something to work with now. Gotta step back and look at it. Make sure compositionally it looks cool. Yeah, I think we got something to work with now. It's starting to look pretty cool. Okay, till next time, Christ is King, Pain is out.